your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will be seen upon you. And nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising.
Thank you for the privilege of being here tonight to share with you from my heart a story of someone who's blessed my life, a story of a young, brave, beautiful child, really. I want to tell you her story because it really tells the story of God with us, to take us through the trials and the hardships and sometimes something very tragic, and that he never leaves us, he never forsakes us, but he walks with us, encourages us, and carries us by his grace. All of our lives are sometimes touched by something hard, a difficult time. I want to tell you the story of a girl named Becky. So I'm actually going to read you the story that I've written about her. It's a true story. At the tender age of 12, Becky was herself just a child when her mother brought her to the center for a pregnancy test. She was a precious child with her unkept, curly, long brown hair that cascaded to her shoulders. The spaghetti sauce stain outlined her mouth from the quick bite to eat they got before our meeting. And her spaghetti sauced mouth instantly drew me to her and endeared her to my heart. She sat close to her mother as they waited anxiously to hear the results. Her mother just had to know if it was true. Could her little girl really be pregnant? She had noticed how distended Becky's abdomen was, but how could it be? It just couldn't be. Hearing the words, "The test is positive," seemed to suck all of the air right out of the room. Becky's mother seemed stunned. Nobody moved. No one talked. Not a word was said. Could this really be happening? And how did this happen? When did this happen? Oh, how she wished her husband were still alive and with her and beside her. She missed him so much, and now this. Becky began to cry as tears rolled down her cheeks, traveling lightly through that spaghetti sauce stain before they dripped quietly from her face to her blouse. Her mother put her arms around her daughter and then looked into her eyes and quietly asked, "Oh, Becky, how did this happen? When? Who?" Becky looked up into her mother's pleading, compassionate eyes and began to unfold the heartbreaking account of what had happened to her. She had walked to an amusement park near their home. She went there each afternoon while her mother was at work, and there was a man there who gave her free rides. One day on his lunch break, he asked her to go with him to a secluded wooded area. Becky pleaded with him not to hurt her. The man from the amusement park told her to trust him, and everything would be okay. The man from the amusement park just down the road from their quiet little neighborhood had lied to a little girl and robbed her of her innocence and so much more. Becky and her mother were devout in their faith and knew the Lord would see them through the long days ahead. They decided she would continue the last few months of her pregnancy and plan an adoption for the baby. Becky gave birth to a 10-pound, beautiful baby girl. She looked upon her child with pride and love. When the time came, her mother wanted to send a gift with the baby, her baby's baby. She held a little red velvet dress in her hands, and she stroked it ever so gently. She remembered the day not so long ago when she and her husband had dressed Becky in the same little red velvet dress, and she knew it was the perfect gift to send. She also knew how proud her husband would be of Becky. What gift would this child mother send to her little baby? Well, she wanted to send her coloring book that she hadn't completed the pictures in. She handed it to me and she said, "I only got a chance to color a few, and I want my baby girl to have it so she can color it when she's older." That just about broke my heart, her handing me her coloring book, knowing that somehow a coloring book didn't work in her world anymore. I reminded Becky of the beautiful gift she was giving this Christmas and what joy this child would bring to a couple who would hold her and love her. This brave and beautiful child, along with her mother, was taken to the deep place of courageous love, choosing life for their child in the midst of a tragic situation. Becky and her mother were gentle and kind, forgiving, and one of the most amazing examples of unselfish love, forgiveness, and faith that I have ever had the privilege of seeing and witnessing. They showed me once again that every life is precious, every life is sacred, no matter the circumstances. I want to read from Psalm 143, verse 7, which says, "Oh, answer me quickly, Lord, my spirit is failing. Do not hide your face from me, lest I become like those who go down to the pit. Let me hear your loving kindness in the morning, for I will trust in you. Teach me the way in which I should walk, for to thee I lift up my soul. Deliver me, O Lord, from my enemies, and I take my refuge in thee. Teach me to do your will, for thou art my God. Let thy good spirit lead me on level ground for the sake of thy name. O Lord, revive me. In thy righteousness bring my soul out of trouble, and thy loving kindness cut off my enemies, and destroy all those who afflict my soul, for I am thy servant. Blessed be the Lord my rock, my loving kindness and my fortress. You are my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield and he in whom I take refuge." Years passed after Becky's baby was born and the delight of an adoptive couple. Becky got married, and Becky was blessed with a set of twins. Our God is faithful, and it is sometimes so hard to come to a place of trusting him in the midst of something so very hard for her mother and for Becky. But I wanted to tell you this Christmas, her Christmas story of a child that came into the world, untimely, unexpected, and certainly not in the right way. But God brought blessing out of that child to a couple who prayed for that child to come to their arms. Thank you for allowing me to share a beautiful story of a brave, beautiful woman. And she was only 12 years old.